Good afternoon. Just as we come live, Angie decides to do her hair. That's great timing. So, good afternoon and welcome to the latest edition of Lunchtime Learnings. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Angi Cooney from C Residential, who I had the pleasure of seeing a couple of weeks ago, lifting 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I keep on going?
No, it's 4.
5, 6, 7. No. At the Esters and also at the Best Estate Agent as well. So absolutely exceptional. So thank you so much for coming on this afternoon and being a guest. I look forward to you sharing what it takes to be the best agent, best reviewed agent at the Esters. But let's start from the beginning. How did you get into agency in the first place? What made you decide to be an estate agent? And 30 years later, like me, we're still doing it.
Loving it. I think that, like a lot of people in the 80s, I stumbled into agency. I'll do this in a very quick minute. I grew up in Rugeley, where I'm based now. My sister died when I was 23. She was 25. I was getting married to a guy who doesn't live in the UK and will never see this, which is fine. I was getting married to him, and then I sat there and I thought, if I die at 25 and have never seen anything outside of the little 4 walls that I grew up in, what a sad old life that will be. So I binned him off, went to work for Touche Ross in Wolverhampton, which was sort of 17 miles away, bought myself a little MG sports car and thought, oh, I love it. I'm going to be really important. I'm going to be an accountant, bored stiff, and then seen a job for Prudential Property Services, which had just started buying all the estate agent stuff, and went to be a PA for a guy called Ian Haynes from Haynes Spires. People like Liz Brown worked for Ian Haynes. So all of these, like the old ones now, they were all managers of this particular group of Prudential, or at that point was latterly then became Connells. As most things in the 80s, it was really fast paced and Prudential was great. I was a PA. I still am friends with a lot of people that I met there. I was an absolute pig. I was horrible. There was no all we had was fax machines, no emails, no computers, no blah, 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 no mobile phones. And I was a PA and a nightmare because I used to make them drive all the way into Birmingham from Walsall and everywhere to drop the weekly stats off. So I learned pretty much that you can't just be a bitch all your life, and to be ballsy, and it is not the way that you go in this world. It was great because it was a great learning curve. Fast forward, the Lichfield office of Prudential of Connells was bought off Quantrill Smith, very well known and respected agency, and it was the first recession that I know of. It was on its knees. They just bought it, 25 grand a year rent for the office rent. And I'd said to my boss at the time, I know I've got no estate agency experience, let me run it. And he gave me the job. Cannot catch your breath, right? And I'll be forever grateful to him. I went to run it. All the staff near enough walked out, and I met a girl on a training course called Diane Moore-Jones, who years later, she helped me set up C Residential. She's no longer with me, and we had a ball, loved it. And I ran riot round everywhere in Lichfield, which is very well to do. By just being us, we ignored everything. Prudential taught us, told us all of it. I literally sat and ran an Angi Cooney office and had a fantastic time. That's it. That's how I got into it. And I blooming love it. And I still love it. And I still love it to this day because it's about people. And I never stop talking. And you'll soon know that in a minute, Stephen. So I should have been a set. But yeah, I got into it by accident in a nutshell. And I was completely bitten by the bug. But there's not one day that ever goes by that I sit there and I don't think in my head, I'm 14 at a place called the Cedar Tree Hotel, because to me, it's about service. And that's what I was brought up on, being able to serve people.
Brilliant. Right. So just unpicking a couple of those things.
Yeah.
I love the fact, I think in your words, about being ballsy. So you just went in and you just said, right, let me run it and I'll run it my way. Yeah. So where did that come from?
God knows. I'm from an Irish Catholic family. I'm one of 5 children. My mum had 5 of us in 7 years. So by the time she was 26, she'd had 5 children, and there is no such thing as men, women, none of the just gender thing. My mum is just a formidable force, and she literally, we could be anything we wanted to be. And I think that that's every single one of my siblings have done exceptionally well because of that. Really, we've all just got into caring type professions, because although I'm an estate agent, I do think it's about you care for people. My one brother's a policeman, my other brother a social worker, and my sister's nursing. So I do believe that we are all in that caring profession, and that stems from my parents, I think.
Amazing. So you talked about 3 things there: people, serving, and caring. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about serving. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So and you talk a lot about this in, you know, everything that I see that's written about you. You talk about making a difference, making a difference to your sellers, your buyers. So what does that actually mean to you, making a difference?
I realise, and everybody that's in the estate agency needs to realise, they're in somebody's life for 12, 16 weeks. It depends on how long you are. What I never want to do, Stephen, is to leave this world and not have made a difference. Not for somebody to sit there and go, do you remember Angi Cooney? Oh my God, she was unbelievable. I want that. And it makes a difference. And I could be in centre of London selling houses, and I would still be the same. And I think what's amazing about this industry is that I will go anywhere, and I'll always know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody else. And I want to make a difference, because I don't want to go out of this world and no one have known. And I want to make a difference in the world that I'm around. That's why I'm very community based as well. I do a lot for my community.
Okay, so let's touch on that, because I think that's a massive thing. And what's really interesting at the moment is I've got introduced to a inspirational 17-year-old, a guy called Daniel Lloyd, who started off this campaign called Markers for Mindfulness. And over the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been into 7 or 8 schools, and I can see how challenging the schools are facing with resources of stationery, with feeding kids, and it's just scary out there. And I know that Daniel's making a difference, and also the Barnet Walking football team and Agents Giving have all got involved. And the stuff we're hearing from the heads of schools is unbelievable. So for me, especially with what's going on with the cost of living now, community stuff, if you're not doing community stuff as an estate agent, you're missing a trick. Not to get instructions, but actually to help your community, because your community needs you. Just like coming after when we went into lockdown and all of us were worried what's going to happen, you know, estate agents and letting agents were amazing. You know, they really rose to the challenge. They were really helping their community. And likewise, I think that's needed now. So, you know, working with your community and being community based, what are you doing? And, you know, what tips can you share to people that are watching this?
This is a whole new program now, Stephen, right? Because it's what I'm not doing. Okay. So, first of all, lockdown came, and literally there was myself and somebody who's sitting listening on to the right hand side of me now, called Angela, because all the other staff had got children or whatever. So literally her and I came in, and we'd hand delivered letters to all the bungalows in our postcode, okay, to say, if you need us, we're here. Because what was very important to me was sometimes when people, we don't know who they are, but they will have known of us. If they're looking to buy houses and everything we do, sometimes that's the only person. They might not know anybody else. What I'm trying to get at there is that we did that first and foremost, so that we could reach out to people. And it worked, because I've got people, and for all these other communities were going out doing, picking up prescriptions and that. Literally, I did shopping, myself and Ange, we did shopping, picking up prescriptions, and it summed it all up for me. There was a guy, his mum had died during lockdown, and this is a true story. His mum had died during lockdown. He's from Lancaster or wherever he was from. Came down, knew nobody. Okay. He found that letter, and that letter said, if you need me, ring me. And I helped him, and I picked him up, and I took him to his mum's funeral, believe it or not. That's because he didn't know he didn't know the area, he couldn't ask people. Everyone was really scared about COVID. And that's when he needed us. And that to me is one of the differences. That's that one. Have you got a whole program just for me? And then
it's just for you.
There's a lot of people that committed suicide in this area. Okay, really tragically committed suicide. I'm one of the local councillors, and they were talking about doing a community garden. And then it evolved. One of my really great friends who did the building I'm in, he did all the building work, and it's 67, and he committed suicide in November last year. So I, along with the council, but predominantly me, if I'm honest, rallied everybody round and all the builders and and we raised it wasn't just money, but they donated all of their time and the resources to build something called the Mindfulness Garden. And a little bit later on, I'm going to send you some photos of it. And we had a statue called the Lonely Man, and we had all these quotes done all around this garden in Rugeley, and it's our best kept secret in Staffordshire. And people go, and it's made such a difference to our community because it's where people can go and talk. My next plan in September is to go around all the schools with it and talk to the schools, because I do a lot of school talks and I want to do the mindfulness. We ended up calling it the Mindfulness Garden because to me, mental health is such a huge, it's a whole new topic. And because I am so vocal and I will stand my head above my little tiny head above the parapet, I'm able to communicate with people, and I want to talk to people and do good in our community.
Here you go. So we got Mark Bevan, who I think's on holiday in Dubai. So thank you, Mark, for joining us.
Hello, Mark.
Lunch. So here you go. I've known Angie for around 10 years now, and I've seen the drive, commitment and process has enabled her and her team to be market leaders in her area. Angie is open and transparent, which is what you need to have as a supplier to her business. Pleasure to work with UC Residential. Thank you, Mark. Have a lovely holiday. Thanks for tuning in. It's very kind of you. So, I mean, look, I've already seen in, the 10 minutes and the time we've had before, your passion that you've got, your drive, your enthusiasm. I think it's amazing what you've done with the community base. You and I need to talk about this, Marcus, for mindfulness.
Oh, we do, but I broke it down. We need to talk after this.
That's going to make a massive, massive difference. I love that idea of a mindfulness garden, and I think you're spot on with everything that's going on. And I believe, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, you're part of Agents Together as well. Yes. And you're a mentor there, and you help people as well. So just whilst we're on that subject, why did you get involved with Agents Together? And I reckon I know what your answer is. I don't know why I asked the question. To make a difference. But apart from that, why else?
Do you know what? I am always shocked by the fact that people want to talk to me, Stephen, which might sound, here we go. It's a bit like when you asked me and I was like, what am I going to talk about? Because I'm boring. All I do is work. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm a champion of everything. I just love everything. And so Agents Together, they approached me and I went, oh, who'd want to listen to me? And they went, tell you what, just have a go. So I had a go and I thought, it's all right, this is. And then I've met another lady, I've got a minute, who doesn't need me at all. And I feel like she needs to mentor me because I find her fascinating. I think if somebody can just sit there and think, good God, if she can do it, anyone can do it. And that's how I view it, Stephen, to be honest. If I can do it, anyone can do it. As long as there's got to be something within you. And there's some negotiator sat there, whether they be 22 or 65, it doesn't matter. If they believe that they've got to do it, you need to empower people, let them do it. And if I meet people, whether it's on Agents Giving or on this podcast, I hope people sit there and think, I'm going to have a chat to her. Do it. Come along. Let me talk to you. Because they can do it. It's within everybody.
Okay, so why do you think it's why do you think it is within everybody that they
Because
have the ability?
everybody's got a potential. I'm sorry, I'm not letting you finish your question. Carry on.
No, you can't carry on with the answer. So everyone's got potential.
Yes. If you are an estate agent Okay. Now you could be you could work at Tesco. So long as whatever you're doing, you do it to the best of your ability and the right and for the right reasons, you will succeed. And I mean that. And success is different things to different people, isn't it? I've watched your other your other podcast. I've watched it where people, I know we touched on it just before the camera started rolling. People have got all these strategies. There's no strategy in Angi Cooney's world, right? None whatsoever, zilch. I do nothing for money, right? Which sounds ridiculous. All of my team know that it isn't about the money. It should be the service first, the continuity of care for our clients, and all of the money and all of the awards will follow if you do it in the right manner and it's for the good of it. I don't do it for the money. Obviously I'm in business, so I'm not doing it for the good of my health. I'm doing it because obviously, that's what I do for a living. But if I was working at Tesco's, by God, I'd be the best stacker there would be. I'll tell you now, I'd be fantastic because I truly believe I'd be fantastic at it.
Okay, so where's that mindset come from? So we talked about the ballsiness. You've got an incredible positive mindset as well. Where's that from?
I don't know. It's always been, I'd say it's always been within me. It's obviously always been within me. And I'm certainly not a shrinking violet. I just love my life. That's it. I love it. I love life. I love everything about it. I like meeting people. The best job for me would be an estate agent, let me tell you, because it just meant I could talk to people and, I hate to use it, make that difference. When I'm sitting with people, when the team is sitting with people who have got cancer, they've died, getting divorced, they've got dementia, it doesn't matter. We have the time. I'm always late on appointments, always, right? Because I sit forever and I hold people's hand. During COVID, I'd sit there and hold their hand. Nothing scares me. I'm not scared about things, and I will always tackle anything head on. And I think that the team that I've got around me are just like that. It's about people first.
So how do you go about recruiting that team and finding them they've got the same vision that you have?
Okay. You can't train a personality. That's it. If somebody walks into your office, wherever you may be, and Angela, who works, I talked about Angela a few minutes ago, she's sat there off camera. Angela she's from Rugeley, and she worked in Amazon and some of the factories. I'm laughing because she's looking at me now. And Lucas. She worked in factories, but do you know what she'd got about her? The instant likability. Okay, that's it. So I knew that if I got Ange, and she worked in our lettings department first of all, people liked her and they liked dealing with her. Now, once you've got that, you can train them how to type a set of details or, do a viewing, but it's the instant likability. So to me, unless you like that person, don't bother employing them. Not if you're going to be in a estate agency and sales.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know whether it did, but
I'm sure it did for some people. So you talk about likability then.
Yeah.
You talk about passion. You talk about, I think one of the words you may have started with that we talked about, empowering people. So how do you empower your colleagues?
Because I think it sounds really old-fashioned. Lead from the front, and all of these things I read all these books in the 80s, threw them out the window, because what you should be doing is instilling everybody, and the Esters come into that as well. Because we've entered the Esters for so long, I benchmark people. So if people haven't been with me for very long, we stand there and go, this is where we are. We need to be up there, and that's where we're heading for. But unless they've got the personality and the empathy and the care to want to help people, I'm flogging a dead horse, really.
Okay, so let's talk about benchmarking.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you use the Esters to benchmark your competitors then and where you want to be? And you talk very much about reviews. And I was at the event, and it was the most incredible event to see so many agents there. And I think you and I, were talking maybe beforehand. It's not about the awards. It's about the service. That this is what your landlords, this is what your tenants, this is what your sellers, this is what your buyers are actually saying about you. This is all about customer service and the experience that they're getting. And for me, agency is about not just one transaction. It's about giving that experience to get that client for life, where they're going to recommend you to friends, family, colleagues, and neighbours. So one transaction. So many agents I see look at it as if, you know what, I think the average UK fee is about £3,000. Great, we sell it £3,000. But actually, the bigger picture is that £3,000 could be 50, 60, 70,000 pounds if you give that exceptional experience. So, what do reviews and Viestas mean to you?
Without the reviews, without the clients, we're nothing, are we? Because I want them to be able to stand there in the school playground and go, oh, you're on the market with X, Y, Z. Have you tried C-Res? Because actually, and social media was the biggest thing for me. Oh, I love it. Because we're everywhere. We're like a rash. I hope everybody follows me on social media. I do anything. I'm not bothered, because it's all about getting your name out there. We sponsor, 1 year we famously sponsored Santa going round. This year I've got Santa in our offices. We have a late night shopping event, and we've got Santa in our offices at Christmas. And I interview Santa. I did interview Santa last year. Went up the North Pole, went and interviewed Santa. And wherever you go, but things like that mean people remember you. They talk about you. And you've got to get all of your team. You have to get all of your team buying into it, buying into the fact that we are going to go over the top and help those people in whatever it might be. We deliver keys all times of night. If people are running late, so they can't get to us to get their keys for completion, we will go over and above and beyond, and we always have done. And they all buy into it. All the team buy into it. They don't just slip off at 5 o'clock. Whatever it is, we're just always on it. And I love social media because it's all on my phone here. So they can never get rid of them. I'm there and I answer it. And then Angela and Sue and Nikki, they all get it.
Okay, so a couple of things. Social media. I'm very shy. I'm very retiring. I don't like doing video. How do we, if there are people watching this that, really don't want to do it, how did you just get started?
I didn't just get started. I bought into this bloke called Christopher Watkins, and I was like, I know. And I thought, oh my God, no way. And I started having little chats to him, and he just said, you've got to just do it. So I did it, and I thought, I'm too old, me wrinkles, my hair's a mess, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, my lips are too thin, and I look like Liz Truss, and all of that thing, right? And then I don't really care now, and that's how we all feel. We don't really care. I can run across the office with my Esters, doing my little TikTok thing, because actually, if people don't want to see it, they'll just switch it off, won't they? But a lot of people like it for the entertainment. It's entertainment, isn't it, as well now? It's great. It's a great platform. Of course, it can have its negatives, but I think I'm not trying to be controversial either. I'm just trying to flog houses and make people smile.
Okay.
So the advice I get to people, just do it. Just do it. I've been there and I've got me bloody selfie thing and I'm like this and it's rubbish and trial and error. Just give it a bash.
Brilliant. So something I want to come back to you as well. A lot of people struggle to get their buy-in from their team, and you said, look, all my team are bought in. There's Angela who's smiling to the side. How do you get that culture in your company? Because there's people out here that just can't get that culture, can't get that buy-in, and would like some help and some tips. And my dogs are joining in as well now. Always away. Just ignore them. They're shut up soon. It's the same yesterday.
Then I would say that's got more to do with the people they need to look at themselves. I really do believe that. Because if the team aren't buying into you, there's something the way you're managing your team, and they don't believe it. Because they don't go into agency because they don't like people. They don't think it's just a job. Because then because it isn't just a job. We all know that. Whether you're a letting agent or a sales agent, you don't go into it just because it's a job and something to do. You may as well go and work in Tesco. Nothing wrong with Tesco, by the way. You might as well go and work there. But the fact is, you want to help people and you're interested in people. And I will say, start recruiting with bars and restaurants, because they're great. Anybody that's been in the service industry, bars, restaurants, fantastic, because they know what it's like. They know what it's like.
I would agree with you.
To work your nuts off and have people be rude to you. And the lettings agent, the lettings teams, that when I had a letting department, were brilliant, because a lot of them were from that background. So it didn't matter to them that, again, I'm turning that on its head. When I had lettings and we set the lettings department up, but with the sales process, because I had no idea about lettings. Diane ran lettings and we were both estate agents. So the way that we went about it was to put our knowledge of how to do a service for clients into a lettings model, of which we made the model up ourselves anyway. And it was great. And that's why we won awards there as well.
There's a surprise.
In getting back to your first, to answer the question a moment ago, if people are struggling to get their teams to buy into it, they need to look at how they're delivering it, what they don't believe their own product then, if that's the case.
Okay, thank you. Right, so you and I have been through challenging markets.
Yeah.
So the market is definitely changing. So what tips have you got for people that are listening or watching this now, how to deal in a changing market?
This is a normal market. This is no different from any other market. What you'll end up with is all the crap agents, all the sell it, pilot eye, sell it cheap shite are gone now. Hopefully they will disappear out the ether for a little while. And this is the best market to work in. I'm really excited about that market. I really am. It's not just Angi Cooney bullshit. I'm really excited about this, because all of a sudden we can get back to doing really, really good jobs for people. And there's all of this, as I've said to you off camera, I've been listening to everybody's podcast, because I thought, oh my God, what's a podcast? Who the hell wants to listen to me? So I've sat and listened to lots of different people's podcasts. And there's all these people with strategies, and there's all these people with all this prop tech. Oh God, about 6 months ago, I don't know who it was I was talking to. I won't swear too much, but everybody who knows me will know sort of the words that I'm missing out there. What the heck is prop tech? Right, I don't want all this prop tech. That's how I viewed it. I don't want any of this prop tech. Threw it out, started again. Because what people need to realise, you will still sell houses with a phone, a list of clients, and a hot box. If no one knows what a hot box is, that's your clients. Because all this prop tech's great, it's lovely, it does this for you, and we can answer the phone for you, and we can do this. Blah, 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 blah. And everybody tries to flog me stuff like that. I'll go, well, why have I got staff then? Because actually I want the team there making the phone calls. And if it does go on to, sorry, I'm going off subject, sorry. I've even got the answer. I've even got where you asked me. But literally, the market is for your taking. It's for the taking. You've got to sit there, be smarter, and empower people, make them believe that they're the best, because they should be the best. And if you don't believe that your company is the best, you shouldn't even have a company.
Okay, so I agree. Look, you can, and in fact, you made a really interesting point there. Your phone is your best friend.
Oh, 100%.
Pick up your phone, have conversations, find out who your most motivated buyers are at the moment, find out who the most motivated sellers are. as you said, for Hotbox, know who your hot buyers are, be working on your 25 hottest buyers and go and find them stuff. This is where the social media comes in with your, with your Facebook and also your Esther reviews as well. Yeah. Anybody who's giving you an Esther review, they should be your raving fans. Go and have a conversation with them. Say, look, I've got Angie. Angie's looking specifically for this in Rugeley. Do you know any friends, family, colleague or neighbours that have something that maybe we can get Angie to buy? It's just asking questions, getting back to agency.
Do you know what we're getting back to, which is great, because all my team are all looking forward to it. I've got Nicola on a holiday. She's back next week. And we've got like a whole day, and it's going to be, right, guys, this is applicant day. So we've got specific times in our diary. We're having applicant days. And everyone's going to sit there and talk, and we're all going to go, 10 viewings. Each person's going to have 10 viewings, and I want you to do those 10 viewings and make it fun. And that's the whole point. We all do it together. And even when I had, because what I've missed out is I did own another company between 1990 and 1995. And we just had a great time then as well, but you dilute your product if you make it too big and stuff, and you have to sort of know where you're going to focus yourself in on. And literally, when I had that office, when I had the guys here, we go back to applicant days, speaking to the vendors. If the vendors haven't had a viewing or had any sort of correspondence or anything with you for a week, and never mind the bullshit of my system presses a button and it sends them a text or it sends them an email with their stats, they don't give a shit. All they care about is people walking through their door and why they're not walking through the door and what are we going to do about it. And the great thing about us is, you can probably tell I don't stop talking, but I've got a group of 5 women here who don't stop talking either. And we pick up the phone and we talk, we have conversations with clients because they need to know that we are there. I've worked in a market where nothing was selling. When Diana, Princess of Wales died and all that, when tragedy happens, you don't sell for about a 10-day period. You think the world's going to all implode. And then all of a sudden people go, oh, well, off we go again then. That's life, and they need to know that we are there. There's no point ringing people and go, hello, just to let you know, nothing's happening. Got no viewers, got no buyers, blah, 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 blah. Michelle Gallagher, who I follow with interest, because obviously she's the best estate agent in the UK. And I watch her social media stuff, and I rang her and I said, you don't know me, would you mind if I use some of your bits on? She went, no, carry on, that's fine, because I like to tell people what you're doing. She does something really well, which I hope people think I do too, and that is weekly updates with what you're doing. Apart from winning the estate agent of the year, tell people we've done eight viewings and we've had 4 sales and we've done this and we've done that. Tell people.
I think you're spot on. I think at the moment it's always about communication. Ooh. Even more so if viewings are going to be fewer and fewer, you need to be having conversations. That vendor care, that vendor guidance, you need to step up a level and make sure you're communicating properly with your sellers and also your buyers. And I think the market updates as to what's going on, because if we read the national papers or CNN, which is constant negative news, we just think, the whole world's going to come to an end. But actually, we can't control any of that, but we can control our own actions. We can control what we're telling people that's going on in our local market. And that's the point. It is our local market. It's not a national market. So tell people, you've got some really big raving fans here. Sarah Edmondson, Angie is my hero.
Oh.
And you know what?
Sarah's crying again talking to her. Hello, Sarah.
Sarah is the most amazing, incredible lady. Steve Green, I love how open, honest, and the drive that comes through from Angie. It's refreshing to see that an owner can be like this and comes across as someone that will do anything that her staff will do. Brilliant. Wholeheartedly agree. And some lady called Sarah Evanson's come back for more. Says it how it is, worked super hard and got resilience in bucket loads.
Do you know, Stephen, if I was running one of these national companies now, right? Because I was listening to the guy from Foxton's talking to Ian McKenzie, I think. I've listened to everybody's podcast. If anybody's got a podcast, wanting to listen, let me know. And I was listening to him, and I thought, do you know, if I was in Prudential, well, Connells or wherever it is now, I would strip those guys back to basics, let me tell you, because they're all reliant on the old prop tech, which has its place. It does. But do you know what? It's all about people, and they need, and even if I was sat in the middle of London, I said earlier, I'd be the best bloody estate agent in there, because I'd make it my business to get to know my buyers and my sellers. And that's where a lot of them are going wrong. They're relying too heavily on just doing, they're just churning it out. It shouldn't be about that.
How does Angie relax?
This is me relaxing, Stephen. This is me relaxed. I can't believe you've even asked me that. I walk. I know you'd walk. I walk. I do boxing. Not people, obviously. That's it. My whole life is about just loving whatever I do. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I walk and I read, sort of, if I can. If I've got the time. Podcasts are great. There's no time. You can rest when you're dead. You can rest when you're dead. That's it.
Okay. I know, actually, listening to this, because you've helped me today with some of your comments, that you have been absolutely incredible. Just one final question. Okay, so you've been listening to loads of podcasts. I won't put you on the spot to say who's your favourite presenter, obviously, but any podcasts that you recommend that are helpful for people watching or listening that you thought, you know what, that's a real good one?
I'm not saying this because it is the Guild. I'm not. But I actually find the Guild ones quite, they're not how do I say that? They have the biggies, don't they? They have big people on there. You have big people on here. Everybody will take out of whatever they want. It's a bit like saying a book, isn't it? What one person does, the other one doesn't. I don't know. It depends. Some I've thought are a bit shit and boring, and others I've just fast forwarded. But because I just think, oh God, I don't want to listen to boring buggers. I just need, because everybody is going to be at a different stage in what they're listening to. I don't know how to explain myself there. People will take out what they need. They will seek it out. But I'm going to do a bit of a book thing now about when I was ill, because I had cancer, and I got into a book called The Secret, and I don't know whether anybody's read it. I haven't got a clue. I was talking to Zanara, who came to see me, and she's been great. I can't remember, double-barreled name, beautiful girl. She came to see me, and I was talking to her about The Secret, and I'll tell you this, and it's the honest truth. I have a dream board, and every year, at New Year, I have a photo of me and my husband and my 2 children, and I'll make them tell me what they want to do, what we want to achieve. And I was listening to, I don't know whether it was you, I think it was. I was listening to one of yours today, I think, and you're on about writing something down, post a letter to yourself. It was you, wasn't it? Post a letter to yourself, right? I don't do any of that. I have my dream board. And if I could show you in 2020, my dream board was Estate Agents of the Year, UK Grand Prix, right? And obviously the following year and the following year. But it turned out. And so this year's a big F-off tick through on my fridge door. And I feel I'm going to send you the photo of it, because it's about, you've got to focus. And anybody here, you can listen to your podcast. And I think by listening to industry, you get to learn a great deal. I think the one thing about podcasts, and you're not alone. You realise that most people have got joined up things, and you can take things out of other people. And this industry is full of fascinating characters, even bonkers Simon Whale, who God, he's just like a force on his own. But you can take things out of people, can't you? You listen to people and you just take whatever you need. But listen, educate yourself. I know somebody else said that in another podcast about education. Education is not just about just this industry. It's about expanding your whole being, all of you. Just expand it all and realise that you're not here for very long. You've just got to grab it by the balls, do the best you possibly can.
I think that's a beautiful way to end. So thank you very much. You've been a fantastic guest. I love your passion. I love your energy. I love your drive and love your commitment. And I think, as Steve Green so eloquently put, it's refreshing to see an owner that can be like this. So thank you so much for your time. If anybody wants to get hold of you, where do they get hold of a shy and retiring Angi Cooney?
Really shy, and obviously hiding underneath the bookshelf. You can contact me on C-Res. It's everywhere. And if you want to talk to me, if you want to come in and see my building, come and have a chat to me. And I believe me, if you do, you walk away and you think, my God, what have I just been Angi Cooney? Because I'm like this all the time. It's not an act. This is how I am.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. So thank you all for watching and listening, and hopefully you'll be there for the next one, which will come out very soon. So thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
And I will say, by the way, Stephen, I am not going to be the Andy Murray of the Esters. Because the day after the Esters, there's a thing in our office. We are not the Andy Murray of the Esters world. We are Nadal, mate. We're going for Nadal.
Okay, love it, love it. Thanks very much.
Take care.
Bye,
Thank you. Bye-bye.